Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Wanted to make a couple comments about some of the things that you guys are doing. But first, I want to thank you for all that you've done. I think we've made a lot of progress over the last couple of years, and I think we have an opportunity to do a lot more. So I know you guys are going to consider the critical race theory, prohibition, and obviously that's something that we've been supportive of in my office. I think there's two issues here that are really fundamental. One is we have to do history that is factual. And if you look at things that have grown out of critical race theory, it's much more about trying to craft narratives about history that are not grounded in fact. So, for example, this 1619 project that came out a couple years ago, the folks who created that said that the American Revolution was fought primarily to preserve slavery. Now, that is factually false. That is something that you can look at the historical record. You want to know why they revolted against Britain? They told us. They wrote pamphlets. They did committees of correspondence. They did a Declaration of Independence. And so when you're trying to say that, that is not something that should be taught because there's no basis in fact for it. So I think it's really important that when we're doing history, when we're doing things like civics, that it is grounded in actual fact. And I think we've got to have an education system that is preferring fact over narratives. The other thing is, if you look at some of the things that have happened throughout the country in some of these places, there's really outrageous things going on about what they're doing by basically using critical race theory to bring ideology and political activism as to the forefront of education. That is not what we need to be doing in Florida. We need to be doing educating people, not trying to indoctrinate them with ideology. Some of the things that we see throughout the country, they're actually in upstate New York. We were looking at these examples. They taught that they forced kindergartners to watch videos saying that racist police and state-sanctioned violence, will kill people at any time based on race. You have things in Arizona where they had an equity toolkit saying that babies show racism at 3 months old and that white children are racist, by age 5. So some of this stuff is, I think, really toxic. I think it's going to cause a lot of divisions. I think it'll cause people to think of themselves more as a member of a particular race or based on skin color rather than based on the content of their character and based on their hard work and what they're trying to accomplish in life. And so I think that what you're doing is the right thing to do. And I would also say, and I think the thing you guys are going to look at and recognize is in Florida, we require teaching actual history of every part of American history. The history of slavery in America, the Civil War. Obviously, the idea that you wouldn't teach that, which some people say it's a straw man argument, that obviously led to 3 major amendments to the Constitution, the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. You look at things like the Civil Rights Movement, leading to major legislation like the '64 Civil Rights Act. So that is not only should be taught in Florida, it is required to be taught in Florida, and it absolutely should be. So that has been in statute, just like we have things in statute about teaching kids about the Holocaust and other really, really significant events in not only American but world history. So all of that is in statute. All of that will absolutely be a part. But when it departs from the historical record, and then when it goes into trying to create narratives that basically are teaching kids that the country is rotten and that our institutions are illegitimate, that is not worth any taxpayer dollars. It's wrong, and it's not something that we should do. So thank you for what you're doing. Final thing before I go, I know that the school districts are looking at the upcoming semester. I think most of them have already decided that the kids should be able to go to school normally, that they should not be forced to wear masks. But I think that that's important that we do that statewide. If we need the legislature to do something, then that we should have them do that. If the board has the ability to do that, then they should really do that. I think most of the districts are there already, but I would ask that, that we get a good reporting on that relatively soon, so that we know what we're looking at. That should not be required, and I think when we go into the August, when the schools come back, it's got to be a normal school year, and that's what we should be doing. And I think that's the best formula for success for our students. And so, thank you all. We really appreciate it, and God bless everybody.